Here's another quote from Mike McDaniel today. This is Barry Jackson in the Miami Herald tweeting out. McDaniel on yesterday, that was an embarrassing effort. I don't really have an opinion on the two teams in the game because we didn't really participate in the game. I can attest to that. I watched it. They did not participate in that game. It really, I said it earlier, it is remarkable to me in that game that Jalen Waddle had one catch for 15 yards. That's almost impossible. When you're playing from behind, but you saw on that pick on Devon Achane when it was a little high, Achane probably could have made that catch, but it was a high throw on that pick to start the second half. Of course they're going to double team Devon Achane. You have no other offense. He is literally it. That's it. If you're a defensive coordinator opposing this team, you go, I don't have to worry about Tua running. I don't have to worry about Tua sitting back in the pocket and looking for someone deep. I got to worry about Devon Achane.
Achane or bust.
I got to worry about Devon Achane. Maybe he's running. Maybe he's catching 2-yard outs. But I just have to worry about Devon Achane.
That's the team right now, guys. And Hawk, you look at the receiving numbers from yesterday. I mean, Tua's numbers are abysmal, but it's why in that first segment, Crowder, I'm telling you, I think he's cooked from the standpoint of he can't throw the ball down the field, man. And I'm not saying he can't throw the deep ball. We know that's constantly a question about Tua. I'm talking about 10 to 19 yards. That's his bread and butter. Bro, Malik Washington, 5 receptions, 30 yards. That makes Jarvis Landry look like Randy Moss. I mean, Tanner Conner had the only long catch of the day for 28 yards. Devon Achane, 3 receptions, 16 yards. Akine, 3 receptions, 16 yards. He can't throw the ball down the field.
By the way, Westbrook Akine over-under on receptions was 2.5. And I was looking at it, and I was like, is he really going to get 3 catches? And I laid off it. Man, he caught that third one. I said, man, what was I doing?
And we've talked about this before, and I understand the Tua arm strength is not Dan Marino. Why can't he get targets? Only reason I noticed I have Rashid Rice, who just came back from suspension. He got suspended. He got in a car wreck. He hurt a guy real bad. He comes back after 6 games. He has 10 targets. They find a way to get him available to throw the ball to him 10 times. We already talked about Jamar Chase having 23 targets with 16 catches. If you are, as an offensive coordinator, there are guys capable of getting guys open no matter what double teams are there. Why can't Waddle never be open? Why can't you scheme up something that he can get open and get some targets? That's crazy. 1 for 15, and Tyreek's hurt for the season. There's stuff that is perplexing in this situation. You're getting beat by 25 by Dylan Gabriel and Jeff Stefanski, whatever the hell his name is.
When you dive into some of the numbers, I had it written down to kind of go over with you guys. I'll start here. Miami, 12 yards of offense, including 2 false starts, by the way, of course, on 16 first down plays, Crowder. So there already, you can't move the ball on first down. Why? A ton of issues. Your offensive line creates zero push up front. So even if you want to give the ball to Devon Achane, can't get yardage on first down because your offensive line crumbles. They were 1-13 on third downs.
That's ugly.
They had 11 penalties for 103 yards. They finished with almost as many penalty yards as offensive yards, 219 total yards of offense, and they had 103 yards of penalties. That's half as many penalty yards as offensive yards.
Amazing.
There's failure at every single portion of this team, other than kicker Riley Patterson. Let's clap it up for Riley. 2 of 2 yesterday, 6 points. Come on.
I mean, what was the combined yardage of his 2 field goals?
The only guy who scored yesterday.
18.
Come on. I mean, Crowder, I mean, that's what you're dealing with here. Your team is incredibly undisciplined, massive black mark on Mike McDaniel, and then you can't run the football. You just can't. You can't run the football because your offensive line can't create any separation. And then when Tua needs time to step back and get the ball to anybody, he's got 0 time and he's got 0 ability to make the throws anymore. because his body is just not holding up the way it needs to be. There you go. That's how the Cleveland Browns, who hadn't scored more than 17 points in 11 consecutive games, blew out the Miami Dolphins yesterday.
I mean, they looked electric against the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm. The Dolphins, they scored 31. You know the Dolphins haven't got to 30 yet this season.
The Broncos scored 33 points in the fourth quarter yesterday. 33 points in the fourth quarter.
The Dolphins haven't reached 30 in 7 games with this explosive track meet offense. And those are what you just said, undisciplined, that's on the coach. And halftime adjustments. You can't score in the third quarter. That's on the coach.
Before we get to headlines, Rock the Ocean's iconic music festival Tortuga returns to Fort Lauderdale Beach next April. Post Malone, Riley Green, Kenny Chesney, and a lot more. We are giving you a chance to win 3-day passes for you and a friend. If you want to enter, go to WQAM.com, click on the contest page, and you can register to win right now. Headlines are sponsored by Doral Kia, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit them at Doral Kia or DoralKia.com.
Kim Bokamper was pretty upfront about his thoughts on the game yesterday on CBS 4. And quote from Kim Bokamper yesterday, maybe the worst game I've seen by a quarterback in the National Football League.
It wasn't, because I watched it and I was like, did I hear him say what I think I heard him say? It wasn't the worst game I've seen Tua play. And Bokamper's watched a lot of football.
Yeah.
The worst game he's ever seen an NFL quarterback play. And by the way, the 3 QBR would be indicative of that.
That's why I said earlier, I really believe last week shook him emotionally and mentally.
Yeah. That's right. That's why I was suggesting, hey, maybe you give him a week off. Like just to reset. And we learned that Mike McDaniel is not benching him. Mike McDaniel, I don't know if you watched it yesterday. It looked to me like the quarterback's coach was telling him we're going to go with Quinn Ewers, that we're pulling Tua. It was the quarterback's coach, right? It wasn't, I don't know if it was Frank Smith. Someone was talking to Mike McDaniel the series before they pulled Tua, and Mike McDaniel looked heartbroken. It was weird. I see if someone can find this on social media, because I that was the what I made up in my head watching it. I'm like, he's being told right now that it's time to bench Tua, and he doesn't want to do it.
I did see Quinn Ewers after his first series.
Oh yeah, he just
walked to the sideline, and Tua came, gave him a pat on the butt, and it almost seemed like he was waiting. He stood right next to McDaniel.
McDaniel ignored him.
He was waiting for some, form of acknowledgement from McDaniel, whether, hey, you're trash, or hey, way to go out there, or whatever. And McDaniel just never acknowledged him, which was a little weird. You would think.
I got to see if I can find this video, because I'm telling you, I was just watching the game live, and I'm like, man, someone's telling it, because it was about that point where you would bench Tua in that game.
After the third interception, I mean.
I like, even for his own sake, how could you leave him in there?
Right.
Like, you're embarrassing him at that point.
But there's no way McDaniel thinks that his offense doesn't work. He has to think it's on Tua.
Well, I was wondering, it's funny that you say that. I was wondering, if you put everybody on truth serum, what would Tua say to you about Mike McDaniel? What would Mike McDaniel say about Tua? This is what happens when things start to splinter in your head.
Yeah.
You sometimes out loud, but in your head, you start to think about, this is this person's fault. It's never your own fault. It's never your own fault.
No.
I imagine Mike McDaniel probably thinks to himself, if I had a mobile quarterback, the damage I could do to this league. But I am handcuffed by Tua's inability to move. And I think Tua probably thinks to himself, if I had a normal play caller who wasn't giving me 15 different things to get set before a down, and I could just run the offense I was running at Alabama, where I was tearing up college football, oh, I could tear up the league. And I think Chris Greer's thinking to himself, oh, if I had a coach who could coach with these great pieces that I've given him, you know what I mean? Like, no one is saying to themselves, man, I'm bad at this, but I'm really curious what they're all thinking about the others.
Oh, if Tua switched places with Patrick Mahomes, are the Dolphins a Super Bowl team? It is the Kansas City Chiefs a mediocre team. Could Andy Reid?
I don't know.
Could Andy Reid make Tua a playoff winning quarterback?
I would say this. I have a tough time believing an Andy Reid-led team after what happened against the Chargers and then in the Chargers postgame. I have a tough time believing an Andy Reid-led team would come out and do what the Dolphins did against a really bad team in the NFL on a rainy day the following Sunday. Now, does that mean Andy Reid could coach them up to victory when he's got, Rasul Douglas and Jack Jones and I don't know. I have a very tough time believing that an Andy Reid team would look like, just like we saw the Dolphins in week 1, where we said, how could you possibly look this way in week 1? But then we wrote it off and we said, okay, week 1, they're going to get it straightened out. And then I remember saying after the New England game, I said, one thing I can tell you, this team has not quit on Mike McDaniel. Mm-hmm. They went down 2 touchdowns, but the team fought back because there was this thought that, hey, maybe the team has quit on Mike McDaniel. And I remember saying after the New England game, they didn't quit on him. They clawed their way back into that game. This was the week that the team rallies around Tua, rallies around Mike McDaniel. They couldn't have asked for a better opponent coming off that abomination at the end of the Chargers game and then the post-game press conference. They couldn't have asked for a better opponent than Dylan Gabriel and the Browns.
Mm-hmm. Good old easy win, Hawk. That's what that's called. Easy win. Rookie quarterback, third start in the rain.
Embarrassed. Worse than they have the entire season.
That's the worst loss.
Solana wore a paper bag to start the show today.
That's the worst loss of the Mike McDaniel era.
Easily.
And that's saying something.
Easily.
Think about last year, Crowder, those 4 games where Tua Tagovailoa was out, and we're saying, hey, how are you not? Okay, fine, Skylar Thompson bleeped the bed. But now all of a sudden you've got Tim Boyle and Stu Puntley. How are you not dumbing down this offense? How are you not finding ways to adjust what you're running to just find some success?
Listen, I'm as guilty as anyone. I've had an excuse for every problem that, Kansas City, it was so cold. I have had an excuse for everything. How could you in your right mind come up with any sort of context for the performance the Dolphins put out yesterday, especially after the week that they had just had? That's why I cannot believe that Stephen Ross did not let him go after that game, because we had heard, hey, unless something cataclysmically bad happens.
Right.
Well, what the hell was that?
That's a locker room separated.
What's he waiting for? What if that's not cataclysmic? It. Like literally for the guys just not to show up to the game?
Literally, we have 8 guys. Mr. Ross, 8 guys have shown up today. We don't know what to do.
Has there ever been a boycott in an NFL team?
From the team itself?
He's waiting for Mike McDaniel to just weep on the sideline for him to finally fire him.
I have to tell you, I was wondering that in my head. Mike McDaniel seems like one of the few head coaches that would just willingly resign because things have gone poorly. And they gave him an extension, right?
Yeah. Well, before last season.
I don't know how much money they're on the hook for. Is it possible that they said, you know what? If we wait this out, we'll save ourselves $30 million. I don't know how much they're saving. I don't know how much he's paying. But, most coaches, you feel like they just kind of circle the wagons and you're going to have to pull me out of here kicking and screaming. And you feel like Mike McDaniel might be the guy who says after a game, you know what, I can recognize this team has stopped playing for me and I'm going to walk away. And I was like, that did cross my mind.
Kyle Shanahan, Raheem Morris, Kevin O'Connell, Matt LaFleur
Right.
would all slap him.
Right.
They fly in to slap him and get on a plane and leave.
Is it possible, Crowder, that Stephen Ross has recognized? Because we're all saying, Stephen Ross, what are you doing? Why aren't you watching what we're all watching and making what seems inevitable? Is it possible, Crowder? Because you know, not to tie you to this, but you did play on a 1-15 team.
Yeah.
And I like to refer to them as your 1-15 team. Is it possible?
I had your back until you called me 80 and 72 within a 45 minute span.
Is it possible that Stephen Ross has recognized, okay, this is done. Tua's done. Greer gone. Mike McDaniel done. This entire era is done. But they're accomplishing what we want to accomplish, which is losing. Why move on from this if it's getting us to where we want to get to?
But where do they want to get to? They want the number 2 or number 1 pick? Who cares?
That's how you start to rebuild a franchise, isn't it, Hawk?
I mean, if you hit on it or if you have a game changer coming out. Is there a game changer coming out?
I mean, Chris Greer was scouting in South Carolina. He was watching Lenore Sellers reportedly over the weekend. Why are you putting Chris Greer on a plane to go scout guys? That's what worries me. Why is he scouting guys still?
There's no one in that building that's going to do a better job. There's no one in that building that can say, what are we fighting? How are we saying?
I think you're saying that about Mike McDaniel, not about Chris Greer.
Or both.
But to your question, Solana, if they're keeping them around to tank, if this is my tank crew, hey, we can get a high pick. Let them keep getting that butt whooped because that takes our pick higher. There is no Anthony Weaver. There's no Frank Smith. There's nobody in that building that's going to fix the deficiencies of this team.
No. You do that after the season. You bring in a whole bunch of. But I'm saying, who's the guy you're tanking for?
I don't know.
I remember Suck for Luck. Like there were guys who you would look at and go, that's a franchise changer. I believe that about Cam Ward. Not that he's completely looked at this season. He's shown some flashes. But who's the guy who's coming out where you go, you know what? It is worth going 1-16, being a national embarrassment because we're going to grab this guy.
I don't know. And Crowder, I don't know if you feel differently about somebody. I like the idea of figuring it out when you're there and taking a flyer on somebody until you hit on the guy, because as a lifelong Dolphins fan.
Oh my God, they're ending up with Arch Manning.
As a lifelong Dolphins fan who missed Marino, who showed up with a mother bleeping paper bag today, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want the Tannehill scenario anymore. I don't want the Tagovailoa scenario anymore. Go find a quarterback. And guess what? If that's not the guy and you notice it a year in, then go try to find another one and be bad until you find the guy. Because one thing is clear in this league. If you don't have a good quarterback that can be elite, you're not winning anything.
Hey, how about this?
I got it.
Could have gotten a Rondé Gadsden the second. I'm so pissed that he's not wearing a Dolphins uniform. Did you see the game OG had yesterday?
Oh, stupid.
Holy mackerel.
Bald.
That guy's going to be one of the best tight ends in the history of the game.
Yeah. Told y'all when y'all was scary during camp. Oh, I hope he makes the team.
I was just trying not to jinx him. You still haven't learned your lesson.
Send in the closer for Mendoza.
Yeah, there we go.
Fernando from Indiana.
Okay. Yeah. Didn't he go to Columbus?
Yeah. Play the chorus for Lenoris.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one?
No.
Kick the tires for Nussa Myers.
What the heck? Let's go get back.
Hey, Fernando Mendoza went to Columbus from Miami, hometown kid. He's balling at Indiana right now. F it. Send it in.
Man, the boy paper thin, though. Paper thin.
And he's balling at Indiana.
They're ranked like top 10
No,
in the
I
nation.
understand. I'm just saying how many football stars has Indiana churned out?
I don't know. I mean,
what the heck? Let's go get Beck.
Not John.